Hey everyone, Effie here. Today we're going to make a card using our Climbing Morning Glories layering stencils. There are 4 stencils in this collection. You have the first stencil, which is the foliage layer, and then stencils 2, 3, and 4 are the petal layers. And this set uses our scalloped numbering system. So you have the scallops in the upper left corner of the stencil to indicate which layer you're working on. So let's go ahead and tape stencil 1 onto our cardstock. We're just going to blend Melon onto the layer of our foliage. Then we're going to go in with Lavender, Spring Violet, and Summer Iris for the petals. So you can see stencil number 2 has the 2 scallops in the upper left corner. We're just going to align the corner of stencil number 2 to the upper left corner of our cardstock and go in with Lavender and a nice light touch. Once we're done with stencil number 2, take that off, replace it with stencil 3. You can go in with a heavier hand. For this next petal layer, we're using Spring Violet. Done with stencil number 3, take that stencil off, replace it with stencil number 4, which is also the last layer in our collection. Just tape this down and blend Summer Iris over the entire stencil. You can go in with a heavier hand since this is the last layer. This set coordinates with the previously released Coming Up Morning Glories stamp and die. So if you have the stamp and die, you don't need to purchase the die over again because it does coordinate with the stencils. So here we're just going to go ahead and die cut our beautifully blended image. It's just a really fun, whimsical looking set because you have the explosion of the foliage and stems and the little sprigs in the background, similar to the coordinating stamp, but it just looks really nice and bright on the coordinating stencil set. So we're going to go ahead and make a finished card with this. We created a die cut using our convention cover plate and the largest die cut from our nested circle dies and the largest frame from the double pierced cover plate circle dies. Then we're going to begin assembling by adhering the convention cover plate die cut onto a A2 panel, and then we added some Marigold ink blending to that circle die cut that we created. The different shapes of dies that we have in our collection, the nested dies and then the cover plate frame dies that we have, they all coordinate. So they are nice to have together so that you don't have to guess at where you have to cut to create these framed backgrounds. So after we added Marigold ink blending to half of our circle die cut, I adhered that pierced frame over our blended panel so we have some nice clean edges. Then I'm going to adhere this assembled piece onto our convention cover plate background, but I'm only adding glue to about half of the die cut because we're gonna crop off the other half, or maybe it's about a third that hangs off. So once I've positioned and adhered down our die cut, just crop it off, and then we're going to glue our Climbing Morning Glories die cut onto the face of our card. I'm just using some of Thermoweb's Ultra Bond liquid adhesive, and we are going to crop off this beautiful flower cluster as well because it is slightly larger than A2. So just glue most of that onto your card and then crop the rest off. You can save these pieces for a later card or a tag or something. I never throw my scraps away, which is kind of a hoarding issue for me, but we'll address that later, or not, because we're all crafters here, and I think a lot of us have hoarding issues. But you know what? Just stick it in a bag and we'll deal with that later. Next, we're just going to add a sentiment. This is a thank you die cut, stamped and die cut sentiment from our daily script greetings. I previously stamped and die cut it, and I thought that it just went really, really nicely with that marigold background that we have. Next, we added some purple opaque rhinestones in visual triangles over our around our floral cluster and sentiment. So that is all from me today. Thank you all so much for watching.